Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sunset Shimmer Gaming here, and today we're going to be doing testing on everything from the Doomsday Heist update. Mostly just the vehicles, and then general tips, tricks, and information that you may not be aware of. So first, we're going to test the vehicles that I can actually put in props in testing grounds. Basically the creator mode that I get set up for new content. Now, unfortunately, not everything can be put in here. That includes like the Conjali, the Volteris, or whatever that new jet's called. But we're gonna get started here real quick. Okay, before we start, I am going to just let you or inform you on one thing that's going on right now. As of today, December 14th, 2017, the FCC has decided to vote against, or to repeal, internet equality, or whatever it's called. This, unfortunately, will not only affect my channel, but basically every channel that you watch on YouTube, and the way you watch it, how much you can watch, when and where. This is if Congress or the Senate is not able to overturn that repeal, then it can cause a lot of problems for not only me and other YouTubers, but also educational YouTubers, public libraries, schools, even businesses. So I'm just letting you know in case it really does happen. This may actually be the last live stream I ever have, and multiple accounts will be shut down. With that out of the way, let's get started with this slightly less enthusiastic review. So we're going to start off with a Raiden. This is a sports car that was added, and I do not like this car at all. It has a very poor turning radius. It has great acceleration, okay top speed. It's an all-electric car. I do like how it has the rooftops on it, like the Surge. And I'm pretty sure those can all be affected by, of course, your window tint that you choose. I don't know, the customization, it just reminds me so much of the Ocelot Lynx, and if you remember, that was both expensive and utterly stupid. This isn't any better. So I would avoid buying this unless you really want to, of course. Next is, I can't remember what this vehicle is called, but it's a new supercar that was added to the game, and it's actually by Ubermach, I think. This is a really unique design, and it's really pretty, and I like its look. I like its handling. Its handling is good for a supercar, but its top speed, acceleration are just about average. And unfortunately, the customization on this is pretty lackluster. I mean, you got the settings. I tried to turn the volume down, but I guess it didn't work. The customization on this is pretty lackluster, and it's not super expensive, but it's still more expensive than I would like it to be. So would I suggest this for purchase? I don't know. If you want to, but I'd probably just get it for the looks. If you're looking for performance, you're definitely looking in the wrong spot. So that'll do it for this portion of vehicles that I did not buy. We're going to get more into vehicles I didn't buy or wasn't interested in when I get into online. So let's see. We're going to go to an invite-only session so we don't have anybody bothering us. So, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to give you a couple of pieces of information I think that I do like and don't like about this update. One thing I don't like is the railgun. Um, Not for the Kanjali tank, but the fact that I would think that with such high technology that we have in this update, that they would have actually finally let us have the railgun in online. But of course, they decided not to. I don't know why. The uh, sniper rifle MK2 with the explosive ammo is basically the same thing as a railgun, but the railgun is just more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, in my opinion. Again, I do like the fact that when it comes to uh, the heist setups, that uh, you could actually pay to just go ahead and skip the um, what is that? The prep, I think they're called, for that you're forced to do in uh, public lobbies, because I think that's kind of crap that they force you into public lobbies and then expect you to go ahead and just survive. You know, you go, good luck, and that actually does affect your criminal mastermind setup, which is I don't care personally because I don't deal with it. So I'm honestly halfway through the second act, and I'm already upset a bit with it, and I probably won't even either finish this or probably won't even do the third one. Um, Another thing before we get to the vehicles, the I'm upset with the heist that they don't have an easy mode, and I know a lot of people are like, "Well, just do it on hard." Well, I'd rather do it on easy so I could just unlock the trade prices for the vehicles, but apparently they decided to make that more difficult for us, and I don't enjoy that at all. But I guess that's what they decided to do. The AI and the missions are completely insane in this update. Uh, I mean, there was already issues with, uh, recent updates and how well aimed the enemy AI was, how they were able to take you out pretty quick. It seems like even though all these new ones, and the ones in this update um, are able to shoot you not only very accurately, but also with weapons that do severe amount of damage. I'm wondering if even if they're using MK2 weapons. Um, and I love the fact that they decided to let us actually do these heists with one, or with two, three, or four players. I just wish that it'd be scaled back a little bit if you're just playing with two. I don't mind doing the smaller payouts. Like I said, I'm not in it for the money. I just want the trade prices because that's what I like to go for. But unfortunately, it looks like we got screwed out of that. So now we're going to take a look at some of the vehicles that I did buy. This right here is the Stromberg, made by Ocelot. This is a submersible car. Right off the bat, buying this, it's actually a good buy, even for its non-trade price. Instead of having to pay for the machine gun and the rocket launchers, and also the underwater torpedoes, they all come stock in this vehicle. On top of that, this is such a dinky little car, so it's not only super cute, but it's also very nimble, very quick on its feet, or on its wheels anyway. And then of course also the fact that it can go underwater, which is the biggest point of this vehicle. I don't like the fact that the machine guns are taken away when you go into submersible mode, but I guess that's for the best. All in all, though, I do like the fact that even if you drive straight into the water with this thing without turning it into submarine mode, it won't break down. It actually, I guess, is partially built for that. Actually, right now, I don't even know if I'm driving or if I'm just floating, but yep. Then you just transform and you're off. Now, as for how fast this thing is, I wish this was a lot lighter. It's not super fast. It's about as fast as the other submersible vehicles that are already in the game. Um, its steering is a lot more loose though, which is a little annoying, but a lot of people say you're not going to have a reason for this vehicle, and that might be true. I like it because I just think it's cute and fun. But another reason why I think it actually might be useful is if you want to help fight off CEOs or VIPs that are doing like their yacht protection missions, because they can kill you, of course, but they might not be able to suspect you as easily if you just suddenly appear out of the water shooting at any helicopter or fighter plane they have. Because the torpedoes do actually fire out of the water. They're slower than regular missiles, but they do just, I think, about as much damage. So all in all, would I suggest buying this? If you got the money, if you want it, and if you're going to use it. Or if you just want it. For the facility, as you see, I got the one right outside Fort Zancudo. I actually do not have a hangar at Fort Zancudo. I wasn't interested when they offered that, even at the time off. As for the facility itself, I like it. It's expensive, but I don't think it's too bad. I can't even remember how much I paid for mine. Let's see. One thing I have to say about this update is I really do like the prices. They're not super cheap like we all hope they would be, and of course they wouldn't be, but the main thing is that they're less than I expected, which is a major to me. I think the most expensive that they have is possibly, I mean, for actual personal vehicles, are the, what is it called? The one I was just using, the Deluxo. And I like the Deluxo personally. Okay. What was I talking about? I'm sorry. And I mean, even on discounted price, that's just under $5 million. That's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad, in my opinion. Shut up. Anyway, but we're gonna get to that here in a second. I watched a video about this gun, and I thought I might just go ahead and upgrade it. But alright, we're just about 15 minutes into the video. Tell me what you think about the update so far. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I wish there was something different about it. I think that's good for now. Okay, so since we're in here, what I'm going to talk about next is actually going to be the Avenger. I'm going to give you a warning right now. If you buy the Avenger straight up without the turrets, you are allowed to go into passive mode with it. And I know a lot of people don't like passive mode because they think, oh, only, you know, wimps and losers use passive mode. It could be helpful if you're being griefed. And I don't care what anybody says. I think it's helpful. Here's the difference, though. With the MOC, if you get the turrets added to it, to the trailer, you can remove them later. And when you remove them, you can turn the vehicle into passive. If you keep them on, then it can't go into passive. This is what I don't like about the Avenger. If you decide to put the turret on, that's it. You can't take it off. And once they're on, you can't go into passive mode. And that's incredibly annoying to me. I really don't like that at all. because I like being able to go into passive mode with this thing, just to have a flying mobile operations center. While we're on the subject, I'm gonna bring up the new jet that was added with this is the Volatile. I love the look of this jet. I was super disappointed to find out it's a lot slower than they showed in the trailer. And then of course, I would be fine paying a little less if I could get it without the turrets. I wouldn't use them anyway. I'd love it as a large bomber, oversized bomber. But the thing is, for even the trade price or the buy it now price, honestly, if you got an Avenger, then you've got something better than the Volatile. This is pretty, but the Volatile is huge, and so is the Avenger. The Volatile drops bombs, so does the Avenger. The only difference is that the Volatile can use countermeasures, whereas the Avenger can't. But at the same time, the Avenger actually has a lot higher damage resistance. The Volatile can be destroyed, even fully armored, with just one missile. And that's actually pretty sad. Whereas the Avenger may not have countermeasures, but I mean, I got shot multiple times with a RPG while I was in this thing, and somehow it actually was able to survive long enough for me to make an escape and get back to my facility. So this thing is armored very, very well. Let's see. One thing I love about this, I mean, besides the fact that it has a VTOL capability, and it's actually pretty fast, pretty agile. It can even fly upside down. Not very long or not very well, but it can. What I really like about it is that it has engaged autopilot. And this way you could actually stabilize your vehicle, and you can go ahead, get up, and go to the back. And while you're in the back, you could use the turrets, and you could, update your weaponry at the weapon workbench. You could even update your vehicle that you got in here. I just noticed this is actually large enough to house the Vigilante too, which is actually pretty impressive. Another thing I like about the Avenger versus the MOC, and I don't know if they updated with the MOC, but with MOC, if you want to use the turrets, your character has to basically take their damn time to sit down, get comfortable, and then get ready for the turret. But if you needed to switch cameras and you're all alone like I am, the most annoying thing in the world is the fact that you have to wait for your character to slowly get up, stretch or whatever, then go over, and then you can finally take control of them, go over to another chair, sit down. With this, they actually updated it so it's not as much of a pain in the ass. You use L1 or R1 to actually change your camera. As you can see here, I'm on the nose camera, right? I do click, and now I'm on the tail camera. I don't have to get up and go to a different seat. And these have 360-degree turning radiuses too. It looks like even straight down, which is awesome. And now I'm on the top. It looks like I could shoot almost straight up. Another thing I think is cool about the Avenger is the fact that if you have a vehicle in back, you can actually go ahead and do an airdrop. Now, once you do this, the sad part is getting back in is literally impossible. As even if you fly the Deluxo back up to the back of the Avenger, it actually will go out of its flight mode and start plummeting to the ground. But I love the airdrop thing because, like with my Deluxo here, as you saw, I'm flying in midair. With my Deluxo, I could just drive out, boom, and I could fly, I could fly, I could fly. And this is why I like the Deluxo. The fact that this thing actually can fly. Now, on the ground, it's pretty nippy, not too bad. It's not super fast, but it's not slow either. And the hover mode is... See what I mean? The hover mode is actually really useful. Wow, I actually messed up here. The hover mode is actually really useful. The flight mode too, to get from point A to point B without having to worry about having to change vehicles or anything like that. And of course everybody knows this thing is from Back to the Future, based off the idea, even its flight mode. But one thing you might not know is the fact that it actually takes inspiration from older Grand Theft Auto games. In Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I think Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you can put in an old cheat code that allows you to float on water with any vehicle. When you do that, you float just above the water, and your wheels actually turn 90 degrees inward and act like hover wheels, and that's exactly what this thing does. One thing that's really helpful, but at the same time kind of annoying, is the fact that when it's in hover mode, it actually tries to contour to the land just under it. And this can cause problems because you could easily crash into stuff or be tossed around like crazy if you're trying to go over like very rocky conditions. But even in hover mode, you can actually just go over the water, which actually makes this useful on land, in the air, and on the seas. So when it comes to the Deluxo, the question is, do I think it's worth buying? And the answer is, oh, for God's sakes, yes. Especially with the weapons added to it. All you got to do is just one payment, and you got not only the machine guns, but you also got the rocket launchers. And the rockets are actually just as good as the Vigilantes. They can be fired off continuously. They can, and they don't give up, if they miss their target on the first try. So all in all, I love this car, and I have absolutely no regrets about buying it at the undiscounted price. So let's see. Next, we're going to be talking about a couple of vehicles I would not suggest. The first one is the Chernobod. I think the name is actually a joke off Chernobyl, since this is a usually commonly seen as a Russian vehicle. Now, I love its design. It is gorgeous. It fires 5 rockets off at the same time, and unlike the APC, they're actually homing rockets. Now, this is what the APC should have been. The only backfire about this is that it's not just big, it's obviously slow. What makes it worse is that if you're playing alone like I normally are, and you drive it to a certain spot, you can't just switch to the controls like you can with the APC to the back to use the rocket launcher. You have to actually get out, go around, get in the passenger seat in the back, and then you can control it. So making a quick escape, as quick as you can in a vehicle this slow, is pretty pointless. So would I suggest you buy this at either price? Not really. If you can get some air support, because the missiles on it are not super special. They are about the same as the Buzzard or the Savage. So they're not going to continuously pursue the enemy target, but if you keep shooting them off, eventually they'll get what they're looking for. But unless you got some air support or extra ground support, I would not suggest buying this at all. Um, this, like the one we're going to be talking about next, these are vehicles that get special spots in your facility, which means that once you buy them, that's it. You can't sell them like you can with some of the other vehicles. Speaking of crap, we're going to talk about the RVC, or RCV. Now, this is the first police vehicle you can actually own. It actually has the lights and sirens on it like a regular, like a police vehicle. However, that's it. It has absolutely no armor. I should have mentioned this with the previous vehicle. It has no armor whatsoever. One missile for either vehicle will destroy it. The rail on the front does not have the same script as the Phantom Wedge. The Phantom Wedge can move stuff out of its way. This cannot. It'll actually slow down or stop depending on what you hit. The driver cannot use weapons, which is insane, but that's because they use the little water spout on front. You could actually pay money for a second one in the back, which means the passenger won't be able to use their weapon. So would I suggest this vehicle? Not even remotely, not even slightly, not even if they sold it for $1. Because again, once you buy this, that's it. You can't sell it. Which again is annoying, and it's very disappointing for a vehicle of this caliber. Next we're going to talking about the Barrage. Now, I haven't used this, but from what I understand, besides its crazy amount of customization, and the fact that it has a 360-degree machine gun on the front and a mounted machine gun on the back, both of which can be upgraded to Gatling guns, and the back one can be upgraded to grenade launcher. This thing is pretty zippy, pretty fast, make quick escapes, quick assaults. However, it has no armor capabilities either, and apparently its climb is very, very poor. So would I suggest this for purchase? No, not unless you continuously run around with a crew of at least 2 other people. Then I'd say try to go for its trade price. Sorry, it's been a long day. But I like this without the weapons on it for a lesser price, because that looks like it'd be a pretty fun vehicle to drive. So, let's see. Vehicles I did not buy. Southern San Andreas. I did get the Riata, and I did get the Yosemite, so we'll get to those a little bit later. Legendary Motorsports, here we go. I did get the Pariah, and I really like it. I do, so we'll get to that later. The Comet Safari really surprised me. I was not expecting this from them. It's basically the Comet Classic, or whatever it is, but it's been upgraded to be an off-road like rally vehicle. This thing has a lot of really interesting and really good customizations to it. On top of that, it could actually be outfitted with machine guns just above the headlights. And a lot of people are like, well, they're machine guns, they're not explosive, so what's the point? I think the point is because this vehicle is so high off the ground, and the weapons are mounted on top instead of out in front, like the Night Shark or the Ardent. This actually might be a good thing, because it might actually be able to get up with smaller, medium cars and shoot straight into the vehicle instead of just shooting the rear bumper like most other vehicles with, machine guns on them. Okay. Okay, now let's get into vehicles I didn't buy, but I'm kind of interested in. The first one would be the Akula. Now, I actually may go ahead and just buy this right now, but originally I was not interested in this, and it was because I was so disappointed with the Hunter, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but I don't like the Hunter. I really don't. But I used it in the Heist setup, and I liked it. I like the fact that it has a stealth capability on it, which does force the users, the pilot and the co-pilot, it makes them unable to use the guns but at the same time, uh, if you pick up like cargo for any mission and go into stealth mode, it'll actually remove the cargo from the radar, the one that you have anyway. So this is actually would be really useful in many free mode situations. On top of that, as for the weapons, one thing I really didn't like about the Hunter is that I play alone a lot. So when it comes to weapons, I need a vehicle where I can control as much weapons as possible. With the Hunter, I just got the homing missiles and the barrage missiles, and I didn't like that. I really wish I could have controlled the machine guns. With this, the driver controls 2 hidden machine guns in the sides and whatever missile you attach to it, which you can only attach one of 2. And that is the homing missiles or the barrage. So you get more than one vehicle with the barrage now. The passenger controls the front-facing machine gun, just like on the Hunter, but the difference is that you could upgrade it from 1 Gatling gun to 2. Now, unfortunately, the backfire about this is that it's not explosive, but if you upgrade it to 2, that's a lot of damage it can do. The rear 2 passengers can use thermal and night vision cameras. And I don't know if that affects everybody in the vehicle, but it's still pretty interesting. So would I suggest this for the trade-in price? Definitely. Like I said, I'm a little low, so I'm always when I start getting close to less than $1 million, I start getting nervous about spending stuff. But this is definitely worth the buy, especially at the trade-in price. Next, I am having trouble deciding whether or not I want this. I like the Kanjali because finally we get a personal customized tank. However, for either price, it's really expensive. And honestly, you're not getting too much of a difference from the Rhino in terms of the stock version of the Kanjali. However, upgrading the armor actually makes it twice as durable as the Rhino. This can seat 4 people, so and the front passenger can actually control the turret on the top, which is awesome because you can't use that with the Rhino. And then if you put on the optional remote grenade launchers, then the people who get in back here can actually use those. However, from what I've seen in other videos, those are actually pretty useless. Unlike regular grenades like the grenade launcher or the compact grenade launcher, whereas the grenade lands on the target and blows up, an enemy vehicle or whatever, then with these, though, it still bounces off as if you threw a regular grenade. The railguns are kind of a disappointment because I thought it would actually do more damage than the regular one, but it does not. You can fire it off just like the regular cannon, but you could also charge it, but all that charge does is just give you a little extra range, and that's really not worth it. So, honestly, for aesthetics, maybe get the railgun if you want, but you're not losing anything really by keeping the regular tank turret. So would I suggest to buy this? If you could save the money up and get the trade price, maybe. Otherwise, the APC still seems like a very valuable option. So that's that. Next is the thruster. And this is probably, to me, one of the biggest disappointments. I'm glad it's in the game, because I know a lot of people have been wanting it for a long time. However, I was thinking with the success of Spider-Man Homecoming, they would have upgraded this into kind of a flight suit like the Vulture has. And because they do a lot of movie references in this game, and I know a lot of people are like, well, yeah, but classic movies, like the Deluxo is based off of the DeLorean, the Stromberg is based off the is based off the car from James Bond, The Spy Who Loved Me. I'm sorry, this commercial's kind of distracting me. But actually, that's not entirely true. As if you even look at the new vehicles and outfits they added, they got the cat suit, which is clearly a reference to Black Widow's suit from the Avengers movie. And even the Sky MOC, the Osprey, is in this game is called the Avenger, which is a joke at the Avengers hover plane, the little one that they use, not the big airship ones. So they could have easily made the flight suit, but this thing flies apparently like a helicopter, which kind of sucks. It could be outfitted with either machine guns or rocket launchers, and the rocket launchers only fire two at a time, like the Buzzard. And unfortunately, they're not, they're not the ones that forever seek their target. So that's a disappointment as well. It does have JTOW capabilities, or whatever it's called, jet assisted takeoff, which is really good. Actually, it's kind of interesting. This could actually be get armor up, and it could actually use chaff or flare, which I'm actually impressed with. So would I suggest buying this at either price? No, not unless you have a ton of extra money and just want it for the novelty. Otherwise, it's really not worth it. If it breaks, it costs $20,000 to replace, like the APC or the Vigilante. And the problem is you're so exposed that it's just not helpful. It really isn't. So I would not suggest buying this just unless you want it for the bragging rights or whatever. So that's it for that. Oh, it's daytime now. Okay, so now we're gonna go to my office where I have the other two vehicles waiting for me. While I'm flying there, let's see. Prices feel good. I don't know if anybody's seen the videos on the drip feed yet, but they got a lot of interesting vehicles coming out, including an SUV that counts as a sports class vehicle. But the two that I'm interested in most is the Hermes, which is back from Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and it's the used as the gang car, I think, for the Cubans. So that's going to be amazing to get back. And from Vice City, I think it is, or no, San Andreas, they're actually bringing back the Hustler, which is another vehicle from the same era as the Hot Knife in this game, that is usually turned into hot rods, and it is turned into a hot rod with its customization. So I'm super excited about getting the Hustler back. Like I said, look at this cat suit. It's not only super sexy, but it's also a nod at Black Widow's outfit from the Avengers movies. Yep, I'm just that good. I'm gonna do decent presses. No, easy mode. I've had turret issues in the Avengers facility. Okay, if you haven't seen the drip feed information yet, hold on one sec. Speaking of the drip feeds content, if you're looking for more weaponized vehicles or waiting for them like we saw with Smuggler's Run, don't expect that. There's nothing weaponized coming out as far as I've seen. It looks like it's all just, like personal vehicles. It kind of looks like the I'm Not a Hipster Part 2 that they were talking about bringing in ended up being scrapped, and a lot of the vehicles are going to be in the drip feed instead. Which actually, if that's true, is a huge disappointment. Let's see. And last but not least, the orbital strike. I just watched a video, thanks to Mr. Boss for the win earlier today. that talks about the orbital strike, and honestly, I'm kind of sad about that. A lot of people, including myself, are basically easy targets, an expensive target, but an easy target for anybody now. And there is almost no place you can hide from it. If you're on your yacht, you could be killed. If you're not inside, if you're just on it. If you're underground or under a building like I am right now, that won't help you. Even if you go underground, like from the sewer systems, that's not going to stop it. Even if you're up very high in the sky as high as you can get, that's still not going to stop it. The only things that could stop it are being inside of a property or being in passive mode. So it's super expensive to use, but since they're not doing, since it seems like they're not actually going to be doing a wipe of people's modded money, I guess everybody's basically a target. So anyway, let's get on with the vehicles, shall we? This is the Vapid Riata. When I first saw this, I thought it was stupid. I really did. And boy, was I surprised. I tried this in testing grounds the day that this update came out, and I was blown away. This thing has great acceleration, especially for a vehicle like it, for an off-road vehicle. Great top speed, great turning. I love its dynamic with its shock absorbers. I love there may not be a ton, but I actually really do like the customization to this. It's fast, it's beautiful, and it's actually inexpensive. And all the lights on it work, including the, as you see, the light rail up front, or on top. So this thing is a beauty, and if you're looking for an off-road vehicle that's built for racing, I would get this. And one reason why I like it too is that it doesn't tip over very easily. Actually, I have not been able to get it to tip over at all, and its off-roading is really, really good. So would I suggest buying this? Yes. Even if you're going to be driving around for play, or taking it into off-road races, or just going around the countryside with your friend. It's definitely worth the money. Okay, so next we are going to get into the Ocelot Pariah. Now, I've never been a big fan of Ocelot. However, I do like the Ardent, and I do like the Stromberg. However, this one really shocked me. First off, your secondary color actually affects the ring around the headlights. Which is pretty cool. The doors all. Ooh, I like that front. But this thing has great acceleration, great top speed, great handling. This is what we needed. A great sports car, because this thing is insane. I'm still getting used to it. I don't like the smaller screen when when I'm doing the live streams, because it throws me off after been, doing it one way for so long. But yeah, this thing is a beast. It's a little expensive, over $1 million, but if you're wondering if I would suggest to buy this, even if you're just going to be using it for races, I say yes, 100%. I say this is a guaranteed buy, because it's almost, to me it feels like it's almost as fast as a supercar. You see what I mean? I could barely control it. It's just so fast. Alright. So, oh. Forgot one. So we're gonna go back to the office. Go pick that up. This thing also has a really nice sound. I'm actually just listening to it for the first time. And it kind of is reminiscent of the vehicle that came out in, I believe that was Flight School. Let's see, right here. It kind of looks like the Ferrari GT. I mean, it almost has the same back end and the same front end, because you see how that is. Then you see that back end, you see that front end. It's kind of a smaller, more updated version. And the Ferrari GT, I don't know if anybody's tried to use it. There is, for some reason, absolutely no customization to it. You would, I mean, I know it was years ago, but still, you would think they would have done something with it. But that was actually a huge letdown. For such a good-looking car, it was not very good. This, though, is a guaranteed must-buy. I love this car so much. Alright, so we're about a little over 45 minutes into this video. So, so far I've had no views, no comments, but that's alright. You could still post what you're interested in, what you like about this update, what you don't like about it. I'd be more than happy to read what you are, about your thoughts on the update and any vehicles in it. And the last vehicle we're going to look at is up here, and I keep forgetting its name. It is the Yosemite. Now, a lot of people keep calling this thing Yosemite, and every time somebody says Yosemite, I want to smack them. I mean, how could you not have heard of Yosemite Sam? I've never once heard Bugs Bunny refer to him as Yosemite Sam. Anyway, one thing that has been bothering people a lot is that we don't have the slam van with the back on it like the gang members in this game do, which doesn't make any sense to me. You'd think they would have brought that out by now, but I guess not. So that's why I like the Yosemite. It may not be a lowrider like the custom variant of the vehicle I just talked about, whose name I forgot, slam van, but it's actually very reminiscent of the slam van from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And I gotta say, besides looks, this thing is actually not that bad. Of course, one of the features about it is, as you see how low it is right now, however, if you start driving, it actually raises up. And then when you stop, it lowers to the ground again. Now, its stopping is pretty useless, which is expected because it is a muscle car. And yeah, I understand that sounds weird. It's a pickup truck, but it does count as a muscle car. Most muscle cars, most sports classic cars actually have very poor brakes. See what I mean? Oh, shut up. But this thing is actually not that bad. Its steering is pretty good. It fishtails, but it's easily you're able to get control of it again really easily. Turning is okay, I guess. But its acceleration, its top speed is really, really good. I mean, I might even start using this for muscle races if need be. Like I said, I'm still getting used to it. But the top on the back that you see there, that could actually be removed. There are several different options for this, so you can make it totally customizable for yourself. And it seems to handle bumps actually pretty good. Okay. So the last couple things we're going to talk about before I get going is with some of the new outfits. Let's see, style. Now, like I said, this outfit is very reminiscent. Well, the boots and the gloves are, and then of course the mask are added. It's my customization to it for the outfit. But for a while, I've been hoping that Rockstar would come up with something sexy for women to wear, and this is a great addition. It may not be, you know, like new lingerie or anything like that, but it looks really, really good. Another thing is the new helmets, or masks anyway. Now first off, this counts as a mask, not a helmet, so unlike helmets, like the combat mask, with the combat mask or helmet, when you get in a vehicle, your helmet disappears, and can get really annoying really quick. But these count again as masks, so they don't go off. So they actually look really good too. It's just these ones, which kind of look like Vulture's mask from the movie, a little bit, not a lot, because that was more of a flight helmet. And then these masks. Now the thing is that before, to get the night vision on like this to work with the other like with other helmets, the combat helmet or the night vision goggles, you actually have to go into the inventory. You have to go to the item. You have to click on it. Blah blah. With this, they actually fixed that, and I love it. Now you don't have to go through all that crap. Just because I'm on PlayStation 4, just press and hold on the right button. Ta-da! Right back off. And while these ones are obviously like night vision goggles, amazingly, these are night vision goggles too. See? So not only can your character look scary, awesome, but you could actually have night vision goggles equipped to them. And since it is a mask and not a helmet, if you get into a vehicle, it'll keep on the night vision. I haven't seen if there's any thermal visions of either one yet, but I haven't really tested. I only got two different helmets of this and one of the other one that looks like it's Splinter Cell. But that is great. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about before we go is the diving suits. Now I love the diving suits because you could actually swim forever with them. You have endless breath, and you have the flippers, which means you can move faster than regular swimming. But here's the problem: if you're playing as a female and you get this outfit, I think this is a glitch. There's an error with the body. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers the first Heist update that came out 2 years ago. There was an issue that if you put one of the brand new Heist masks on, it turned your female character's face into a male's face. And that caused a major uproar in the community. And Rockstar ended up fixing that in the very first day of release. However, that problem returns again with this Heist update. As you can see how my woman's body is shaped here. When I put this on, now she has a man's body. I mean, it looks like the back may be a little feminine, but I mean, look at the shape. That's a man's chest. Those look like manly legs, those look like manly arms. So, hopefully Rockstar will fix this. I'll show you again the difference. Because you see how boxy the chest is. Now you see how thin it is. The best place to look is where the side of the chest meets up with the inside of the shoulder. You see how much more boxy it gets. And I think she actually gets a little taller too. That could just be the shoes though. Yeah, I think that's just the shoes. So hopefully they fix that because that's kind of annoying. But as for the new features, though, I do really like the fact that we finally could save up to 20 outfits, so I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of that. Some of the new Mark II weapons are pretty useless, or useful, although I have to say the explosive ammo for the shotgun is actually fairly useless. I came across 2 Noose members, shot them both at almost point-blank range, just far enough so it wouldn't hurt me, with with one shot from the explosive shotgun rounds, and they fell to the ground, and I thought that was it. They both got up, so that did not kill them. But from what I understand, the heavy revolver MK2 is actually, with the incinerator rounds, actually very useful for one-shot killing NPCs, especially with heavy armor like the Noose members. So I'd probably look into that if I were you, since especially the explosive sniper rifle rounds have been nerfed, so they're actually a lot weaker than they used to be. Let's see. And I still got to check out the ability to open the back hatch to the Titan, the Cargo Bob. I don't like the Bombrushka, so I didn't buy that. But I already bought the Titan, so that should be able to show me what it is I want to know. But it's getting late. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, then I will see you. Well, hopefully I'll be around. My account won't be shut down. But take care of yourselves out there, alright? I want to thank everybody for following me and being pretty loyal. I appreciate that. Even if it's just 2 or 3 views, it means a lot to me. I don't think anybody out there was that interested in anything I had to say or post. So, you take care of yourself. This is Sunset Shimmer Gaming. We are out. Where everything is 25% off. Save 25% off all rings, all necklaces, and all bracelets. That's 25%.